Welcome to the porch. This is the Denim and Pearls podcast, and my name is Michelle.
I'm Brian, and we're business casual and serious talk from the front porch. Or no, just the porch.
Just the porch.
Yeah, we'll get this down yet.
Well, by popular demand, we have become an official podcast. We actually have a Denim and Pearls logo, and we're working on building our audience. So if you are listening and you enjoy this, make sure you like and share and subscribe to our YouTube page. It is also on our Facebook profile, Denim and Pearls Podcast. You can find us there. Now, what's today's topic? Today's topic is
Controlled chaos and charisma.
Charisma. He's the chaos, I'm the charisma.
That's what you think.
I'm more the chaos, actually.
Yeah, some days.
So, what brought us to this topic of controlled chaos and charisma?
Well, right now we're looking at the world, and the world is like total chaos. And it is a total disaster. It doesn't matter whether it's personal or professional or whatever. We don't know what we're doing from one day to the next when it comes to either politics, which is not what the show's about, but it's politics when it comes to business, when it comes to everything that is happening within our stores and our businesses. So how do we control some of that? And what does it take to have charisma? Or what I'd rather talk about is actual neutrality. Yeah, neutrality, because when we look at our Facebook pages and our social media and stuff like that, what are we talking about? What is in our news feeds and those kind of things? So that's, I think, where we're going to start with this.
Okay.
But first of all, before we do that, since we are a brand new show, I think we should talk about why we started what we're doing.
Way back when.
Back in the day.
2
weeks ago.
So what really happened is I'm a speaker. I'm a speaker from the stage, and I go on and I turn on by sharing messages of hope, inspiration, and getting people up to become, the best versions of themselves and being unapologetically themselves. And when COVID hit, I got locked in my house, like all of us did, and I needed to communicate to other people who were outside of my family. I needed an outlet. And I saw him outside working in his yard, and I came over and interrupted his time. And we just kept talking, and we were realizing that we were talking some serious subjects and things that we should all be talking about outwardly without inhibition, without worrying about, what were they going to think or whatever we were talking about. And Brian and I were sitting there like, you know what? Let's bring this live. Let's have the community join us and ask the questions live. Exactly.
Why not? I mean, everybody has their own discussions. Everybody has their own personal opinions, whether it is on politics or, those faux pas topics, politics and religion. Okay. Even if, when you're sitting on the front porch and you're comfortable with the people that and the same goes with your business partners and different things like that. If you're comfortable with the people you can have a true discussion, non-biased, and no judgments made, and then just go off the front porch and go home and not worry about it. On the other side of it too, as I never like stuff that's permanent. Somehow you got me in front of a camera, and so the world is going to see this now. But the permanency of opinions can sometimes come back to haunt you, and I've never really been a fan of that. But here we are, and we want to talk about the charisma and neutrality. But my reason for the podcast was mainly so that we could get the word out and share some information and have some fun doing it. They always, what's that saying that they always say about, set it free.
What's that? No, it's if you love someone, set them free. If it's meant to be, they'll come back. And my thought about the whole, opinions will follow you if you put it on recording. My thing is, if you're authentically yourself and unapologetically yourself, that it will be okay to be the best versions of you. I mean, your opinions are your opinions. And this is going to be really interesting because we are on the front porch. And lately we had a hailstorm. So there are all sorts of people driving up and saying, can we fix your roof?
Yep.
Can we fix your roof? So if you hear anybody come in, we're literally on the front
we
porch.
are sitting here, and the contractor just pulled up and wants to take a look at my roof to see what's going on. So at least we don't have dogs barking in the background yet. Hey. So, but yeah, I think that's a real good reason why we got started. Shall we get started into the controlled chaos and the charisma that we're going to cover today?
I would love to. And we've got a couple of people who've joined us already. So Janelle's joined us, Gerline has joined us, Nicholas has joined us. And I thank you for joining us. And please start sharing, because for those of you who are following us right now, you know how we talk. You know the enjoyable way we talk, and that we do have pearls of wisdom that pop through our casual conversation. So please start sharing, and let's get on topic.
Gerline says she wants to see the hailstorms. If you actually go to my personal page, there's like a 17-minute video of what happened last week. So it starts off very little, and then it's like a snowstorm out front. So control chaos.
Yes.
So one of the things that we all have a challenge with sometimes, especially with social media, is speaking out and telling our minds. Okay. Sometimes that doesn't work with business.
No.
When you're looking at business, you have all of these people that you have to deal with that all have different opinions. So what does your Facebook page look like? What does your Instagram page look like? What does, your LinkedIn page? Usually LinkedIn's are pretty good because they're all geared towards business. But people make decisions based on what they see in your profiles. They go back and they look in your history, and it doesn't matter if it's a year or 2 years back, or some of us have been on Facebook since like 2000 and whatever. Yeah, no, I don't think anybody hit 1999. But anyway, if you go back into your profiles, people will scan through all of that stuff to see what your opinions are and see what kind of a person you are, and they draw conclusions. And if all you're doing is posting political posts, well, they kind of think that you're a political person.
Yeah.
But is that the way you want to come across to your customers?
And we talked about this in the last broadcast, was about, you are your brand at all times, no matter where you are. If your name is connected to whatever you do, you are your brand. And that's kind of what got us into the whole chaos thing, was that there is so much out of controlness happening in our worlds right now. And how do you handle that? How do you handle the chaos? And I told Brian, we're like, there is no control in chaos. It's how you react to it. So that's the problem that we all have, is we see something explode. Okay, boom, everything's all over the place. There's tiki things and there's shredded things everywhere, and your life just seems insane. And we desperately are grabbing, trying to fix it and pull it together. And he's like,
it's getting dangerous over here.
It's getting crazy. He's like, what do you mean about this chaos? When we're talking about chaos, and I said, I see the world as a gigantic pachinko machine. Do any of you know what a pachinko machine is? Do you remember what those are? It's basically where you put balls on the top of something. There's a whole bunch of nails in a board, and they go ding, 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 and they randomly, you have to guess which way it's going. In our world today.
And which slot it's going to finish. You got to finish the rest of the story.
Oh, yeah.
Because it finishes in a slot at the bottom, and then you collect all these balls, and depending on how many balls you get, the rumor has it, that if you go behind the pachinko parlor there in Japan, you can get paid cash for those. Did you know that?
No.
Yeah, because gambling's illegal over there. However, if you take your pot of balls and take them to the back room, they say that you can get paid for them. I never did it. I heard rumors about that.
Well, back to the pachinko machine. Okay. And this is how our conversations go. So just kind of FYI, if you're out there looking for a checkbox, you will eventually get the checkboxes, but we do have a lot of side comments. Mm-hmm. The pachinko machine is the world. When everything kind of grows crazy, like with this whole COVID thing, you basically dropped a whole bunch of balls into this pachinko machine of your life, and you're guessing where the balls are going to end up. Mm-hmm. Here's the magic about it. You cannot control where the ball goes, but
you can control that it's not going outside of the machine. So you have a controlled chaos. You have it going, that it's going to end up in one of those bottom slots. You just don't know which one. That's randomness, or that's chaos in itself. But the machine, as a whole,
your life.
It is your life, and you can control that. And you can keep an eye on it and make sure those balls don't bounce off somewhere else. I mean, imagine if you had, some of us are old and we remember pinball machines.
I'm not old.
No, neither one of us are, but you got a pinball machine. Imagine if you didn't have that glass cover across the pinball machine. So every time you hit the bumper, it went ding. There's no control of the chaos at that point. So we have to look at our lives as that pachinko machine.
Controlled chaos.
And we control it. We keep it down to an acceptable manner. Now, What acceptable is a whole nother story, because everybody has got their opinions on what acceptable is.
Mm-hmm.
But we've got certain standards and morals and ethics that we have to follow within our business lives, because that's what we as a community have agreed upon. Okay. Everybody's idea is different, but for the most part, it's kind of be friendly and the customer comes first. The customer's always right. Be good to your neighbor. Those are all acceptable
general things,
right, within our community here. Other countries, it may not be such, but we've got that control. And if you can control that, not only in your personal everyday appearance to folks and how you come across, but when you look at it, from your social media standpoint, because social media is a big thing for everybody.
That's another pachinko machine.
Oh, that's a massive pachinko machine.
Well, and then that's the thing, is that we call it controlled chaos because you understand your realm. You understand where you are in the world, in your world. So you are the pachinko machine. All the things that happen in your life randomly are the balls in your pachinko machine. Okay. Right. And although you cannot control them where they fall, you know that at the end, they're going to stop somewhere. You have control of what you choose for those balls to fall at. And that's kind of where we got the whole pachinko machine idea and random chaos, because you can respond when you know how you plan to react when they hit in the different spots.
Right.
Goes back to
what?
SWOT. That was it. The SWOT analysis. I said you understand your strengths, your weaknesses, the opportunities, and your threats. Okay. And when you have that pachinko machine and all the balls are going crazy, you're like, oh my gosh, the opportunities and the threats and the possibilities are all those bottom lines. So right. That's why if you go back to the other podcast, we talk about understanding your business, your life, whatever it is, understanding your own strengths, understanding your weaknesses, knowing where your opportunities lie and where the threats are so that you can prepare for wherever those balls end at the end. Right. You will know how you respond to your chaos.
So I'm looking also, Nicholas wrote over here, how do you pivot your business model? I don't think this is a matter for this episode. I don't think this is a matter of pivoting your business model. It's a matter of how do you make your business look? If your business is starting to look weird or odd or something like that, then maybe you do need to switch a little bit or what have you. But pivoting your business model is making full changes. What we're talking about here is the right within your social media or how you're perceived by your audience or your customers. I kind of go back to my, long time ago, one of my relatives somewhere, probably my aunt or what have you, always said, if you say it out loud, do you want it to show up in the newspaper the next morning?
No.
So how are you going to be judged if it shows up in the newspaper the next morning? So why would you do it?
Yeah.
Okay. A little story behind that. We had a guy that when I was in school, and I think it was in middle school, he skipped school one day.
Okay.
Goes out and running about and all that other kind of good stuff, runs across a barn fire. And literally a barn
is on fire.
Barn, cowboys, Indians, or no, cowboys and horses.
Cowboys and horses.
A barn
We're
fire.
From Colorado.
And when that barn caught fire, he helped get out some of the horses and he did a great deed. Mm-hmm. Well, keep in mind, he skipped school. Mom and dad didn't know he skipped school. Well, the next morning, guess what was in the newspaper? His picture is him being a hero and saving all these horses.
Not at school.
Yeah, and not at school. So it was one of those things that it's kind of a hard decision to make in that particular case, because do you save the horses or you get in trouble for being out of school? He didn't have his best choice was the horses in this case. But what if you do something that's even more negative than that? Do you want it to show up in the newspaper the next morning? Do you want it to show up on Facebook? Do you want it to show up on Twitter or Instagram or any of that kind of good stuff? Because what's that going to reflect on your business? So when we post stuff on Facebook or we post, on all these social medias, I should, instead of lining all these out, social media, when we post all this stuff on there, people are making their judgment calls based on what they believe in.
Oh, majorly.
Right. So they're either going to do business with you or they're not going to do business with you. and not is not a good thing. So if you go back through your own personal stuff that you've posted recently, or at least within the last 6 months or year, what have you posted that could really set somebody's opinion that's negative to your business?
Oh, and now he's in my realm. So this is
I like
what
these. I like this thing.
I talk about this a lot, and I like to move forward to the camera. He teases me about it. But the thing is I'm a communications coach. I help people communicate their businesses. And one of the things I tell my clients is body language speaks before your words do. In the world of social media and lockdown where people aren't doing things like that, well, he's doing the hula, I think. But the thing is, your body language is now not only what you look like, how you speak, how you write.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
what your opinion is on other people's posts. I mean, so there's a lot of things that go into body language. So if you're ever watching a post and you don't have the sound on and you see someone doing this, are you going to click on it?
Probably. Just for the entertainment value.
I won't click on it because whoever's doing this looks really angry. And so I don't click on those. So what are you doing for your business? I know we were teasing someone last week about being a massage therapist. And I said, well, you have to be careful who you are everywhere else. So be your brand. So if you are like with me, I'm an inspirational speaker and I help guide people to a better, stronger, positive mindset. If I came on to Facebook Live every week and went, you know what? I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know. I'm a coach. And if I did that, every tool that I have ever supplied to any of my clients has just been thrown out the window. Mm-hmm. Do you understand what I'm talking about here? You are your brand.
You are.
And you have control over what you say, what you do, and how you react. And if you have a brand that is reliant on your name, you must be your brand. And if those of you who are old enough to know what Caddyshack is, it's no. Be the ball, the pachinko ball in your business, in your life, because it will make or break you. Because if I was a coach and I was losing it, and I had just told hundreds and thousands of my clients, this is what you do when your life is out of control and you need to, and I can't use my own tools, I've just negated who I am.
Right. Well, the other thing is, too, more technically on this, it's not always just the comments that you make on the post that you might agree with. That's fine, but the world doesn't need that you know sometimes that you agree with that, whatever it is. Pick the topic. But when you click like, have you ever noticed that if somebody clicks like, somebody just liked this page, somebody just liked this post? Well, guess what? You're still being tracked and people still see it. So I don't like a lot of the stuff that I think is controversial. When you're dealing with the public, like for instance, we talked in our first episode that we did Galaxy Fest.
Yes.
Or that I did Galaxy Fest. And my partner, but we had to keep things neutral because everybody that comes to Galaxy Fest or came to Galaxy Fest was totally different. They're from all different types of lifestyles. Their lifestyles, their beliefs, their, whether they're gamers or whether they're cosplayers or all these other things. Everybody is different. And there's no way in the world that I could say an opinion that somebody's not going to disagree with.
Oh, yeah.
So if you look back at my Facebook post or the Galaxy Fest posts or any of that kind of stuff that's out there, it's history. You're not going to find anything that's controversial. I mean, I'm sure we can make stuff up that's controversial, but for the most part, it's neutral. So that way I don't offend anybody. That way we always have the customers coming in. Excuse me. We always have that happening for us. So I'm a big believer when it comes to what you present in public on social media is neutral and it has charisma. Now, what is charisma, honestly? I always wanted to have charisma. Did you know that? That's one of my destiny kind of things. It's really cool because what I was taught charisma is when you walk into the room and everybody stops talking and looks at you.
Oh, I call that magnetism.
It's magnetism, but it's also the definition of charisma. So you walk into the room, ooh, Brian's here. I don't have that happen often.
I train it. I train how to do that.
So it's not easy to have that because it requires a whole lot of stuff like respect.
Intentionality.
Yes, intentionality. The way you carry yourself, the way you present yourself, the knowledge that you present, the people that you're with. So we have to come as close to that as we can. And one of the ways of doing that is through social media. And everybody wants to know who you are. Even if you're here and you're not an entrepreneur, but you have a job, okay? Your employer may be looking at your social media.
Or
Why?
if you're looking for an employment,
or if you're looking for employment, they may be looking at it. Now, you can have that argument. Is it right? Is it wrong? Should they be able to? Is it invasion of privacy? We're not going to get into that conversation, but it's a possibility they could be looking at it. And I raised my kids that way. I got one that kind of went off course on this, but raise my kids that way. Don't post stuff you don't want people to see or making a judgment call from later on when you decide to get a job.
Well, and it happens all the time. People make snap judgments, okay? And
This is not product placement, by the way. It says Mustang. I'm a Mustang fan.
he likes cars. And that's the other part of the Denim and Pearls thing, because I don't know anything about cars, and I had to buy a pair of jeans so that I felt like I could fit into the Denim and Pearls.
It's awesome. I've converted you to jeans.
So that brings us back to the whole, that's why we called this controlled chaos and charisma. Because in order to control your chaos, you must have that charisma. You must have that neutrality in order to see the world from a neutral standpoint. And really, that's really what that brought that title together. So if you have any questions, if you have any comments that you'd like to say, maybe want us to address about this whole chaos and charisma talk, please put them in the comments because he can read them.
And since we're doing this officially now, we also have to bring up our tagline.
Oh, yes.
So do you remember what it was?
Business casual.
And serious talk from the porch with Denim and Pearls. No, not with Denim and Pearls. It's just the name of the show because I'm Brian here in the show.
Yeah.
Right. So, and then where's my finger? And push up here on the subscribe button thingy.
Where is it?
I can't even do it.
I don't even know where it is.
Push on the button. I think that'll subscribe you somewhere or take you someplace. But also hit our YouTube channel. What I found out about the YouTube channel is really cool is it makes it really easy to find the videos that you want. If you want to go back in history and see what it is, there's only 2 out there right now. This will be number 3. But once we get this going and we've got 10 or 15 or 20 of them, it's really hard to find them in Facebook. So if you go to our YouTube channel and subscribe on our YouTube channel, at least you'll be able to go through and find out what did we say? Because it always happens that way. We sit here and tomorrow we'll be having this conversation and go, what did we say about
no idea.
this, or this? So it gives you a chance to go back and find out what that was and see what our wonderful words of advice were.
Well, and the thing is like Nicholas just said, to control your chaos is to control your reaction. It is a choice. Every time you feel like you are out of control, remember, it is your choice to be out of control. So what you do is you choose the thing you can grasp, right, and work from there. I did a talk about it this morning about self-esteem and understanding when things go crazy, how you're really not in control of anything, but you are in control of you. And that's where that building comes from. That's where that trust in yourself, that's where the controlled chaos comes from. You are the control in your chaos.
All I can think of is a marionette, but you control yourself. You know? In that marionette, they have the strings on them and stuff.
Yeah.
Who are you going to let control you? Who's controlling your strings? Is it you or is it somebody else?
I'm thinking of Pinocchio. I have no strings, as you can see.
You always have to get singing in here, don't you?
I do. I like to sing. It's how I remember things. I do. I remember things through songs.
There's going to be somebody out here one day that's going to go through and it's going to take all the little snippets of you singing and make a collage.
Please do. That'd be so cool. But controlled chaos. It's an illusion and not. You are control. You are the control. So whenever you feel like you're losing it, you have no control and everything's going out of place and out of whack. Remember, you can control you.
And I think it also goes back to the fact, too, of what we talked about last week was failure. And accepting failure. Is it failure? Because if you decide that you're going to control your charisma and your neutrality and stuff like that, and you make one false move, don't consider it failure. what are you gonna do? You're gonna pick it back up and just keep right on going. There's always a bump in the road somewhere. So I wouldn't consider that a failure if you lose that one little strength of charisma that you may have. See how I wrapped all it
I like that.
together?
Should we drop the mic now?
We don't want to break it.
No, we don't want to break my mic. So realize in the controlled chaos and charisma talk that we had today, you are the control. Chaos always happens. Things always happen. Okay. What is that one saying about when things go bad, you can expect it or something like that? It's like, I can't remember. I can't remember.
I just think, never mind. I always think of ignorance when you say something like that. Ignorance is such a bad word, but it just means you don't know something.
Yeah. So if you don't know and things feel out of control, remember you can control yourself. That is what controlled chaos and charisma is about. Know your strengths, know your weaknesses. Take control of that. I don't have anything I don't know. You do. Or you wouldn't have started the business. You wouldn't be doing what you're doing. So you do have knowledge. You believe in you.
We always, as being on the front porch, we always change subjects constantly.
Yeah.
I'm going to flip over subjects. Is that okay?
Sure.
You guys care if I change subjects?
Okay.
Okay. So what I want to talk about
We have 5
now
minutes.
a little bit, we got plenty of time. Okay. We have until whenever we get done, right? Or until it rains. Well, no, we got a porch over. We're good. Anyhow, one of the things that was brought up this morning that I really wanted to kind of chat about a little bit is perspective.
Oh.
And in this perception of perspective, the conversation was about some of these guys that are out there, they're CEOs and stuff like this, and they're making millions and millions of dollars overseeing a company. Some people don't think that that's right. Some people think that should be taken down the line and shared. And I don't want to get into the politics of all of that. What I want to do is look at it from the fact it depends on who. I personally believe it depends on how you're looking at that perception. How are you looking at money? Because we sometimes believe that we always have to have just what it takes to survive. So we all could live off of $500 a month, but do we choose to?
Yeah.
Or do we choose to live off of $5 million a month? And some people say $5 million is an overkill because you really don't need that to survive on.
It's all perspective.
But it's a perspective of where you're at. It depends on what your bills, what you've grown into. There's a bunch of different things from that nature. So when you think of success, you also have to get rid of that roadblock in your brain. If you think that all you need is something to survive, you're never going to be successful the way that you think success may be, unless you're think you're successful in love and life and those kind of things. But when it comes to economics and when it comes to your money, where's your success limit? Is your success limit double the income that you have today? Is your success limit, $10 million a month? If you've got a roadblock at $500 a month, guess what? You are probably not going to get what you want.
I want to say what Michael Ferris just said. He said abundance.
Mm-hmm.
I speak often on
Hi, Michael.
The abundance mindset, or the what's the opposite of abundance?
I don't know.
The lacking of.
Oh.
So the thing is that's the perception. That's the perspective you need to remember. If you make your goal so huge that you can't see when you're accomplishing something, you will feel yourself as a failure. You will see yourself as a failure. But how do you eat an elephant?
One piece at a time.
Yeah, one bite at a time. So make your goal big, okay? Whatever you want to do. But make increments you can see successes as you go. Or you will start doing, I failed today. I didn't make $15 billion. It's like, what are you doing? Selling a spaceship? So you've got to put yourself in perspective so that you realize that you are accomplishing, that you are moving, that you have goals that you are achieving.
Right.
Make them mini goals so that you can see accomplishment. Mini goals are important because our brains need to see successes.
So I've been taught that you set your large goal. Mm-hmm. Let's say you set your large goal as a small entrepreneur, you set your large goal at, say, $100,000 a year. Well, break that down. What is that a month? Then you break that down into what is that a week? And then you determine based on your business, how do I make that much money per week? And every week you
And
shoot
how many
for
people?
that
Yeah, how
small
many
goal.
people do I have to reach out to? How many calls do I need to make? How many
Yep.
emails do I have?
I hate calls.
I like calls.
You like
So-
cold calls? I hate cold calls.
Oh, I don't like cold calls.
Oh,
I
God.
don't do cold calls. But I've learned the hard way on the cold call.
And my problem with calls, you know what happens? I end up with 40 minutes worth of conversation and I don't get anything else done the rest of
No,
the day.
I don't believe that. Do you believe that he gets on sidetracks and just kind of goes off?
Just a tad.
So here's the thing. We should wrap up.
Which should we?
I think we should.
We're going to keep this one shorter than the rest.
Yeah, we should stop at 30 minutes because I think people have business to do, people to see, and things, things.
Places to
do.
go, people to see, and things to do with those people they see.
Yeah. So if we can keep it as close to 30 minutes, right? And then you can share and say, hey, these people are awesome. You want to follow them on their YouTube page because they're going to go big.
Yeah.
We have big goals.
Big goals. We just need to get followers now.
Yeah, we need to follow because here's
Follow
the thing.
Denim and Pearls.
We need you to follow Denim and Pearls on
That's
YouTube.
you. Oh.
Yeah, we need you to go to YouTube.
Oh, you didn't
right
do that
now.
today.
I just did.
You didn't
I'm
do
doing
that
it.
today.
I'm doing it now. We need you to share this and go to the YouTube page and subscribe because when we hit 100 subscribers or more, we can change it to youtube.com/Denim and Pearls. Right now we're like X2 V blah 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 blah. I can't remember anymore.
Oh, I don't even know. It's like plenty of letters long. It's like it looks like the oh, what's that number on your VIN number on your car?
It looks like a VIN number.
Yeah.
And as Michael just said, it's not about the money that you earn, but how you spend it, and that's huge. And we'll have another topic about the money and how you use it, and what really do you need in this world? Because a lot of us right now have just realized through this whole COVID thing that the things we thought we must have, the things we thought we needed, not so much anymore.
It allows us to SWAT.
Mm-hmm.
And
SWAT.
if you want to know what SWAT is, go back to the first one. There's the second one.
SWAT.
SWOT.
Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. You must always, always, always do that. Oh, thank you for sharing that, Nicholas. But it's be the best version of you.
Yes.
And remember, when you are on social media, be as neutral as you possibly can if you have a business, because you basically are running around slapping your sticker on every opinion you put on social media.
Right.
And in this world.
And you can subscribe to us without bad.
Oh, no. Yeah, that won't be a bad.
No.
People will look at you saying, oh, they subscribe to Denim and Pearls.
Yeah.
They must be awesome.
It becomes a status symbol now.
One of our goals.
Denim and Pearls is status symbol. So a good status symbol. So you can subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can hook up with us on Facebook. Those are only two places we're at right now. But she wanted to cut this short. She told me to cut it short, and she keeps talking. So we'll cut this short with the fact of, we are business casual and serious talk from the front porch. Subscribe to us on YouTube.
And we are.
Aren't we cute?
Denim and Pearls. Guess who's Denim? Guess who's Pearls? Until next time, please share, like, and subscribe, and have a great day.
Bye.